At the very start of the placement, I sort of didn't really know where I was going with or how I was supposed to be involved, and it took me a couple of weeks to sort of get the hang of what the project was about, and then what my role was within the project, and then what that meant as a social work student. So there's sort of layers of understanding around what I was doing.
Personal challenges I overcame through supervision with my field educator and in-house supervision with the manager and assistant manager. The other challenges I overcame just by asking lots of questions of lots of people that I thought were relevant, and by putting a coordinator in place, a research coordinator and a research mentor in place to help oversee the project, so I felt I wasn't alone doing it.
Feeling quite isolated within the agency while I was undertaking the literature review, because you're quite glued to your computer and everyone else is around on home visits and doing bits and bobs, so they're quite active, and sometimes that was hard to stick to the computer and keep doing my work, and I think maybe others didn't fully understand what I was doing or why I was doing it.
There'd always be a knock on the door from somebody else saying, "Oh, I'm going into this assessment, would you like to come in as well?" And you think, "Oh, I know I need to do this," but the temptation is so great because you want to go in because of your learning.
Yeah, isolation's a real killer.
Time, I think that was, in the end, my research went a couple of days past my last day on placement, and maybe I didn't estimate the right amount of time just for like wrapping it up and all the references, and it took longer than I expected. So yeah, I think maybe the time was a little bit constricting, but I mean that could have been planned a little bit better if I'd managed my time a wee bit earlier.
Some of the issues I've probably faced is putting a full stop to the whole process. Right. Establishing ownership over it.
The mistake I made is I went into my placement with the thought of completing at least half of the whole research process that we'd sort of mapped out, and that was the mistake I made, because that meant that for the whole placement I kept on kicking myself that I wasn't at this point, or I wasn't there, or I hadn't completed this, why hadn't I completed that? But it's about sort of maybe slowing down a bit and just enjoying being a part of a process, and part of a process that it might take another 6-7 years for you to be a part of again.
Time management, staying focused, not drifting and getting lost in all this information. Ideally, I think it would have been good if I'd made myself a framework for that initial task, right, because it was quite challenging, and it was quite daunting, the first lot of material that I was presented with. Mm-hmm. Well, it was an awful lot of it, so.
There wasn't much within New Zealand. There was sort of only one general document, but it wasn't focused on younger onset that I was able to use. Sourcing information was quite hard because there isn't a whole lot out there. So even though the emails to other organisations were helpful, I felt like I really had to seek that information out and go through quite a bit to actually get my hands on the information that I needed.
Looking at it, that this is a great opportunity rather than, oh my gosh, this is extra work, which it wasn't really so much this is extra work. It was more like it was the unknown. Probably what's expected of me.
The biggest challenge is just sort of the kind of preconception around what research is about, and sort of justifying to yourself why you've spent hours and hours at a computer desk and I've done work. I know you can't see I've done it, but I have done a lot of work this week.